My brothers and sisters, there is something we all must face, regardless of where we are born, what language we speak, or what history we carry on our backs, and that is fear. It creeps in quietly, sometimes loudly, often when we are on the verge of something great. It whispers lies into our ears, convincing us that we are not ready, not worthy, or not strong enough to continue. But let us be very clear about one thing today. Fear is not our enemy. Allowing it to govern us is. Fear is natural. It is as much a part of being human as breathing, hoping, or dreaming. It is the body's cry for caution, a signal to tread carefully. But while fear is natural, submission to it is a choice, and that is where our power lies. The measure of our strength is not in whether we feel fear. It is in what we do when fear stands in our path. Do we allow it to cage us, or do we rise and walk through it? I have looked fear in the eye more times than I can count. I have felt the cold grip of uncertainty when the future was a wall, not a door, and in those moments I learned something essential. Fear cannot survive where purpose lies. When we have a cause greater than ourselves, when our hearts beat not just for survival, but for justice, dignity, and peace, fear begins to retreat. It cannot root itself in soil watered by courage. Too often we are told to be fearless, as if courage means the absence of trembling hands or sleepless nights. But that is not courage. Courage is when your hands shake, but you build anyway. It is when your voice cracks, but you speak anyway. It is when the night is long, but you keep walking, one step at a time. You see, bravery does not mean you do not feel afraid. It means you refuse to let fear decide who you are. Some of you listening today may be holding yourselves back. Not because you lack talent, not because you lack vision, but because fear has whispered a lie to you. It told you that your past defines you. It told you that your scars make you weak. It told you that the mountain is too high, the river too wide, the dream too foolish. But I tell you this, no mountain is higher than a determined soul. No river flows stronger than a mind made up to change its course. You do not have to silence your fear to move forward. You must only refuse to serve it. If fear asks you to sit down, you stand. If it tells you to be silent, you speak. If it urges you to stay behind, you take the first step. Because every great movement, every moment that has changed the course of history, has been carried forward not by those who felt nothing, but by those who, in spite of fear, marched on. Look around you. Our world today is still shaped by fear, fear of difference, fear of failure, fear of truth. And it is precisely because fear is powerful that we must be more powerful still. The world does not need more silence. It needs voices, voices willing to say, I may be afraid, but I will not be broken. It needs hands willing to build, hearts willing to forgive, and minds strong enough to imagine something better. You may stumble, you may fall. That is the way of all those who strive. But each time you rise again, you take fear's power away. Each time you refuse to surrender, you remind yourself and others that fear is temporary. But dignity, justice, and courage endure. I am not telling you the path will be easy. I am telling you it will be worth it. Because once you cross the line that fear has drawn, you discover something it was trying to keep from you all along. Not just your strength, but your freedom. So I say to you today, walk forward, not without fear, but beyond it. Do not let fear choose your future. Let hope, let purpose, let conviction carry you, because you were not born to be ruled by fear. You were born to overcome it. My friends, if fear is the shadow that blocks our path, then doubt is the weight we carry within. It is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it lives in quiet moments, in the hesitation before we speak, the pause before we act, the voice that questions whether we are enough. Doubt is more cunning than fear because it wears the mask of reason. It convinces us that we are being careful, sensible, realistic. But in truth, it is often the most subtle form of surrender. Doubt begins with a whisper. It tells you your dreams are too big. It reminds you of every failure, every stumble. It brings up what others have said or not said about you. It shows you all the reasons why you might not succeed, but never the reasons why you should even try. And so many people, brilliant, brave, good, heated people, have turned away from their purpose, not because the road was blocked, but because they believed the lie that they could not walk it. We are not born with doubt, we learn it. Life teaches us through rejection, through disappointment, through silence, and sometimes through cruelty. But if it can be learned, it can be unlearned. That is the task of those who want to live not in the shadow of their potential, but in the light of it. You must stand before the mirror of your own soul and say, I will no longer speak against myself. Do not mistake humility for doubt. Humility tells you there is more to learn. Doubt tells you you are not capable of learning. Humility opens the door to growth. Doubt shuts it. You were never meant to walk through life with your head bowed to uncertainty. You were made to lift your head, even when your knees are shaking, and move forward with intention. Some of the greatest obstacles we face are not in front of us, but within us. And the tragedy is not that we aim too high and fail. It is that we aim too low and succeed. Doubt convinces us to lower our expectations, to reduce our vision, to accept the world as it is rather than to build the world as it should be. But history is not made by those who doubt themselves into silence. It is made by those who, in the face of inner conflict, choose to act. There are people in this world who will question your ability. There will be institutions that underestimate your worth. But the most dangerous voice is not theirs. It is yours when it begins to agree with them. When you begin to echo the world's limitations rather than your own possibilities, you begin to shrink, not because you are small, but because you believed you were. This is why discipline matters. Discipline is not only about the work of the body. It is the training of the mind. It is waking up each day and choosing to believe that your efforts matter, that your voice counts, that your life is worthy of the fight. You must build within yourself a place where doubt cannot stay, a place made of purpose, persistence, and self-respect. Even when you feel unsure, even when you question your place, you must act, because action births clarity, and clarity silences doubt. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until every question is answered. Move, speak, try. There is power in the trying. There is progress in the attempt. And every step you take away from doubt is a step toward the life you were meant to lead. This world does not belong to the flawless. It belongs to the faithful, those who remain loyal to their purpose, even when storms rage inside them. Let others doubt you if they must, but do not join their chorus. Let your life be your answer. Let your actions speak on your behalf. You must believe that you are more than your past, that your mistakes do not cancel your mission, that your doubts do not determine your destiny. You must believe this not because it is easy, but because without that belief, you will never know what you could have become. So when the night falls and your confidence is low, when your mind fills with questions and your heart feels heavy, remember this. Doubt only wins if you stop. And you are not here to stop. You are here to rise again and again until doubt forgets your name. My dear brothers and sisters, there is a truth we all come to face, whether we live in comfort or in hardship, whether our names are known or forgotten. That truth is this: life will test you. It will test your patience, your resolve, and your faith. There will be seasons when everything seems against you, when each day feels like a burden, when silence greets your prayers and the horizon seems unreachable. In these moments, it is easy to feel small, to feel forgotten, to feel like giving in. But I tell you now, true strength does not reveal itself in easy days. It reveals itself when the ground shakes beneath your feet and still you stand. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you grow into. It comes not from the absence of struggle, but from struggle itself. When you fall and rise again, something powerful begins to take root within you. You begin to learn that storms do not last forever. You begin to understand that even pain has purpose, and you begin to believe not in a perfect life, but in your ability to persevere through an imperfect one. You see, endurance is not just surviving. It is standing tall when everything tells you to collapse. It is walking forward even when the wind of the world tries to push you back. It is holding your values close, not when they are easy to keep, but when they cost you something. The world may try to bend you, but it cannot break you unless you give it permission, and you must never, ever give it permission. There are those who will measure strength by position, by wealth, by influence. Let them. But the strength that changes nations, the strength that restores communities, the strength that heals wounds, that strength lives in quiet acts of resilience. In the mother who rises before dawn to feed her children with empty hands and full faith. In the young man who chooses the path of dignity even when the streets call him elsewhere. In the elder who teaches wisdom not through words, but through an unshakable presence. This kind of strength is not loud. It does not boast. It does not seek applause. It simply endures, and in its endurance it shapes a new world. We must understand that adversity is not the end, it is often the beginning. Every struggle carries within it a seed of transformation. The darkest soil can grow the most powerful roots, but for that to happen, we must choose not to run from hardship, but to face it with courage, to allow it to refine us. The fire is painful, yes, but it also purifies. It removes what is weak and leaves what is unbreakable. And do not be fooled into thinking that standing strong means standing alone. No, our strength is multiplied in community. When we walk together, when we support one another, when we lift the fallen and share the burden, we discover that collective resilience is the foundation of all meaningful progress. Let the world see us standing not in isolation, but in unity. That is where our real power lies. We cannot avoid pain, nor should we wish to. To love, to hope, to dream is to open ourselves to heartbreak. But in that heartbreak, in the cracks and bruises, something greater is born: compassion, understanding, wisdom. These are the qualities the world needs more than ever. These are the qualities that only come from walking through the fire and coming out stronger on the other side. When your day comes, and it will when you are called to stand while others sit, to speak while others remain silent, to act while others wait, do not hesitate. Do not doubt yourself. Draw upon the strength you have built from every battle, every failure, every tear. You are not weak because you have struggled. You are strong because you have survived. Remember this: storms may rage, but they do not last. Fear may shout, but it cannot silence truth. Doubt may visit, but it cannot stay where hope is planted. And pain may bruise, but it cannot destroy what is rooted in purpose. So stand, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Stand not for yourself alone, but for those who watch you and will one day follow. Stand because your strength is not just a gift, it is a light, and the world needs your light to shine. My friends, there is something deeper than fear and stronger than doubt. It is the force that has carried generations through fire and trial, through injustice and silence. It is what moves people to lift one another up when the world tries to pull them apart. It is what gives meaning to our struggle and dignity to our pain. That force is unity, and it is guided by hope. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is not sitting idle, waiting for someone else to bring the change we desire. Hope is action rooted in vision. It is a decision we make again and again to believe that something better is possible, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When we carry hope, we are not ignoring the weight of reality. We are choosing to carry it with grace and defiance. In the face of hardship, hope is the seed, and unity is the soil in which that seed grows. We are not meant to walk this road alone. No single person carries all the wisdom, all the strength, all the answers. It is when we come together, across differences of language, belief, background, and burden, that we become something greater than our individual selves. We become a people. We become a movement. Too often, we are taught to stand apart. We are told that to survive, we must compete. That to succeed, we must outdo or overpower. But I tell you today, there is no freedom in standing alone atop a broken world. The real triumph is when we raise others as we rise, when our progress is shared, when our victory is collective. Unity does not mean we will always agree. It does not mean our voices must all sound the same. True unity is not uniformity, it is harmony. It is learning to listen, to understand, to walk beside one another, even when the path is not clear. It is choosing peace over pride and purpose over ego. I have seen what happens when people unite in hope. I have seen divided communities become whole again, months not because the lay wu wene uada were sojers forgotten, but because the will to heal was stronger. I have seen children dream again because their mothers and fathers refused to let poverty define them. I have seen strangers become family because they chose empathy over indifference. You see, fear and doubt thrive in isolation. They whisper louder when we believe we are alone. But when we come together, when we stand side by side, they begin to lose their power. One voice may tremble, but many voices shake mountains. One hand may falter, but many hands can build a future. Do not underestimate the quiet power of hope shared, a kind word, a helping hand, a simple act of justice. These may seem small, but they create ripples that move across time. What begins in one heart can echo through generations. That is the power we carry when we stand united. Let us never be the people who look away. Let us never be the ones who stay silent when truth demands a voice. Let us never say, "It is not my problem," when our neighbors cry for help. Our liberation is bound together. Our future is written not in the success of a few, but in the rising of many. And yes, we will face resistance. There will be those who profit from our division, who fear what we can achieve together. They will try to stir mistrust, to sow doubt, to distract us from our common purpose. But they cannot win if we refuse to turn on one another. They cannot win if we hold the line not in anger, but in courage. Not in vengeance, but in justice. There is more power in our unity than in any weapon. There is more light in shared hope than in all the darkness the world can throw at us. But we must choose it every day, in every act, in every conversation. We must choose to build bridges, not walls, to open doors, not close them, to see ourselves in the eyes of others, and to know that their dignity is our own. So let us walk forward not as isolated souls, but as a united people. Let us carry hope in our voices and unity in our hearts. Let us overcome not as individuals chasing our own shadows, but as a light rising together over the horizon. Let us prove once again that together we are unstoppable.